Tanzania is slowly turning their faces away from the West instead of apologizing. Now, they're looking for new partners. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has made her own choices. She says, if one door does not open for a leader, other doors will surely open. Instead of looking west, that is to the European countries, she's now looking east to Russia. Most people are wondering, what's happening between Tanzania and US? Why is she going to Russia? Now, this is only Finance Podcast where we bring you finance and economic updates of things that are happening in Africa and the world at large. Stick around to learn a thing or two from this channel. Let's dive right in. Why is President Samia looking east? What happened between her and the European countries? I'd like us to go back to last year's election. So, on October 29, 2025, Tanzania had a presidential election and then it was a tug of war. As rumor will have it, it was said that President Samia Suluhu Hassan won with 97% vote, meaning that she actually went unopposed. Meanwhile, there were other people who were also running for this same political position, but then she won. Rumor has it that the election was rigged and then she purposely used her power to disqualify other oppositions. And because of that, the election in Tanzania became a controversial topic. It became a controversial issue. Every country was not turning their eyes to Tanzania throughout last year during the election. When protests erupted, government imposed restriction. And not just that, many people were not allowed to vote freely. And because of that, her oppositions were saying that she rigged the election. She caused chaos, and then in the midst of the chaos, she was announced as the president of Tanzania. According to the AP News, the main opposition party, Chadema, has said that about 2,000 people were killed during 3 days of protests following October 29 election. The government has yet to give an official death toll. So that means that over 2,000 people were killed during this election, but then trust their President Samia Suluhu, to come out and debunk every news. She said that they were only killing bandits. The UN statement cited hundreds of people believed to have been killed, but said it was unable to verify the figures due to the volatile security situation in Tanzania and the country internet shutdown that lasted for 6 days after the election. So now, according to rumors, she went as far as shutting down electricity and internet connection, just so that nothing can go out of the country. No evidence. Even if you have your videos, you can't post it without internet connection. And she understood the assignment, so she played by the game. The government publicly denied the casualty figures, saying that they did not kill that amount of people. That people that they killed were not even up to 500 people. Meanwhile, the public was saying something else.
These were the scenes in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's biggest city, on election day. People took to the streets, infuriated by the exclusion of the main opposition candidates from the presidential race. The number of injuries and reported deaths are still unconfirmed. Amidst the media blackout and the shutdown of internet and phone services, it was difficult to monitor the situation. People tore down election posters, attacked police stations, and destroyed ballot boxes. Reports of protests in other parts of the country also emerged. Tanzania's ruling CCM party has been in power since independence, and President Samia Suluhu Hassan is basically running unopposed. Tanzania's main opposition leader, Tundu Lissu, is in jail facing treason charges over remarks he made while pushing for electoral reforms. His party was barred from elections. Human rights groups documented arrests and disappearances of government critics prior to the elections. As protests continue, Amnesty International has urged authorities to not use excessive force against protesters.
With all the news spreading on the internet, trust your president. She still stands on what she said. She says they were only killing bad bandits. Now, according to the Reuters newspapers, Hassan, who was sworn back into office on Monday after being credited with 98% of the vote, acknowledged that people died, but her government has called the opposition toll hugely exaggerated. Now, she's saying that they're exaggerating how many people were killed, meaning that those who were killed were bandits, according to President Samia Hassan. But then to the opposition, they are saying that more people were killed because it was glaring that the people of Tanzania liked the other opposition. And then how was she able to win with that amount of vote? The election in Tanzania attracted criticism from international bodies. The African Union Observer Mission stated that the election in Tanzania did not meet up to the standards of democratic election. Human rights organizations from Africa and overseas called for investigation to make account of how many people were killed and if truly this election was actually rigged. But then President Samia kicked against it. She said, no way, you cannot come here and come and detect what happens in my country.
And I call on the European External Action Service not to slip back into business as usual. I will spare you the diplomatic language used in recent statements, but the tone was certainly not as clear as it should have been. Tanzania's continued pivot from the rule of law, reform and good governance demands a genuine assessment of our bilateral relationship. Colleagues, if we truly stand for democracy and human rights, we cannot stop at words. Let us use every tool at our disposal to hold those in power accountable. Tomorrow, this House will send an unmistakable message. All EU funds channeled through state-controlled entities must be frozen immediately. The European Union must not use its fund to subsidize oppression. The time to act is now. All political prisoners must be released immediately and with no conditions. Urgently required is an independent and credible investigation into all killings, abductions, and enforced disappearances. The great people of Tanzania, they deserve new, free, and credible elections.
From that video, you could hear that the European countries usually fund any African country who is under the European Union, and then Tanzania is under the European Union, and as such they are being funded 175 million naira annually to help fund their government projects, to help boost their economy. And because of this incident and the refusal from President Samia for these observers to come and inspect if truly 2,000 people were killed or if truly the election was actually rigged, they froze every link they have with them. They cut off ties with them. Now, everybody's going to think that President Samia is going to go and beg the European Union. She did not beg. She did not even apologize. Rather, she went to Russia to make a business deal. That was a major geopolitical move from the Tanzanian president. On June 3rd, 2026, President Samia arrived in Russia. And that was a very historic move because for the past 57 years, Tanzania and Russia have had nothing to do in common. The very first president of Tanzania to have ever gone to Russia was President Julius Nyerere in 1969. Since then till date, President Samia has been the first Tanzanian president to go back to do business deals with Russians. Tanzania's message is clear. If one partner is pulling out, there's always another partner to step in. Most people are wondering, why did she choose Russia? Why did she go to Russia? Her answer was simple. She just went there for trade, business, mining, technology. She did not just go there to show that Russia is better than US and all of that. No, she went there for a business deal. According to Gadiosa Lamte, a business reporter from Tanzania, she says Tanzania expects to attract investment and business worth more than $2 billion. That's about 5.2 trillion shillings from Russia over the next 3 to 5 years, following President Samia Suluhu Hassan's recent visits and participation in St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, SPIEF. The projection was announced on Sunday, June 7th, 2026, by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation Director of Economic Diplomacy, Ambassador John Ulanga, during a briefing on the outcome of the visit. He said the trip had opened new opportunities for trade and investment with major Russian companies expressing interest in several strategic sectors. Now, you can hear that this was strictly business. They did not go there to make formalities, play around, or try to win a bet or whatever. They went there for business. For decades, many African countries relied on the Western partners for aid, investment, and business. But now, African countries are now seeking for alternatives. Alternatives from China, Turkey, Gulf countries, and even from Russia, especially from Russia. President Samia's Russian visit symbolizes something different. It represents something other than a simple diplomatic trip. It's a balance in international relationships. According to Tanzania Invest News, it is recorded that Tanzania and Russia agreed to open industries, energy, and infrastructure to joint investment. Tanzania and Russia have agreed to deepen investment, cooperation in industry, energy, transport, infrastructure, and air transport with value addition processing, production technology, and goods transportation, named as priority areas at the third joint Intergovernmental Commission held in Arusha on 15 to 16 May 2026. Now, this is clear. If US is shutting their door at us, will go to another country to invest in our country. We have the resources. So why not? At this point, Africa is choosing their own interest first. The bitter question now is, will the Tanzanians' deal with Russia help bring more investment, more jobs, and more technology to their country? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Well, to like the well, to share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Solid Finance Podcast, for more finance content like this. Until next time, thanks for watching.